The house stood alone. Deep in the woods it waited. Denise found it at the end of a winding path, trees pressed close, branches like grasping claws. Moonlight, thin and pale, spilled through the leaves. It painted shadows on the overgrown lawn. The wind sighed, a low moan through the trees. Denise shivered. The air felt cold, heavy. He pushed open the creaking door. Dust swirled, dancing in the sliver of moonlight. The air inside was still and stale. The scent of decay lingered, a musty whisper of the past. He stepped inside, a sense of unease settling over him. The first night's sleep evaded Denise. The silence of the house pressed in, broken only by the creaking of the old structure. He lay awake, listening to the wind howl outside. It seemed to whisper against the glass, a language he couldn't understand. The second night brought strange sounds, a tapping at the window like branches scratching against the glass. Footsteps in the hallway, slow and dragging. He told himself it was the wind, the settling of an old house. But fear, cold and sharp, pricked at his skin. One night a floorboard creaked outside his door. He lay frozen, heart pounding against his ribs. The doorknob rattled. He held his breath, listening to the silence that followed. He was not alone in the house. Sleep became impossible. Every creak, every sigh of the wind sent his pulse racing. He felt watched, hunted. The house was awake at night, alive with unseen things. The voice began as a murmur, low and indistinct, a thread of sound in the darkness. Denise would wake, heart pounding, unsure if he had imagined it. It seemed to come from the walls themselves, a vibration rather than a voice. The whispers grew stronger. Words, fragmented and chilling, reached his ears. Lost, the voice sighed. So cold, so alone. Terror, icy and paralyzing, gripped him. He was not imagining it. Something was speaking to him. The voice seemed to call to him, draw him from his room. One night, compelled by a force he couldn't resist, he crept down the darkened hallway. Each step felt heavy, his breath catching in his throat. The whispers led him to a locked room at the end of the hall. The voice was stronger now, a constant murmur against the wood. He pressed his ear to the door, his blood turning to ice. "Help me!" the voice pleaded. "Let me out!" The next morning, fear drove Denise to the village. He found the oldest resident, a woman with eyes as ancient as the forest itself. He told her of the whispers, the voice in the night. The woman listened, her gaze steady and knowing. She spoke of a family that once lived in the house, a husband driven mad by grief, a wife who disappeared without a trace. Some say the woman whispered, her voice raspy with age. He trapped her soul within the walls. Denise listened, a chill crawling down his spine. The woman's words confirmed his deepest fears. He was not alone in the house. The whispers were real, the remnants of a tragedy long past. "Leave this place," the woman warned, her voice sharp with urgency. "The house is stained with sorrow. It will not let go easily." Denise knew she was right. He had to escape the whispers, the chilling presence that clung to the house. Driven by a desperate need for answers, Denise returned to the house. He felt drawn back, compelled to uncover the truth hidden within its walls. Fear warred with a strange sense of responsibility for the voice that called to him. He found himself drawn back to the locked room. Ignoring the pounding of his heart, he threw his weight against the door. It burst open, revealing a small, dusty space. The air felt heavy, thick with a palpable sadness. There, in the center of the room, he found it, a small loose stone in the wall. He pried it free, his fingers trembling. Behind it, a hollow space, and inside, a small leather-bound journal. The journal was filled with elegant handwriting, faded with time. It was the voice he had heard, the story of the missing wife. She had discovered a terrible secret, a darkness in her husband's past. He had imprisoned her, sealed her fate within the walls of the house. Denise fled the house. He ran until the trees thinned and the moonlight no longer held the same eerie glow. He left the journal behind, unwilling to touch it again, yet unable to destroy it. He found no peace, no escape from the haunting voice. It followed him, a whisper at the edge of his thoughts. Lost, it sighed, so cold, so alone. He was forever bound to the house, to the tragedy that clung to its timbers. Sleep offered no respite. In his dreams the whispers echoed, the voice pleading for release. He saw the woman trapped within the walls, her sorrow a tangible presence. Denise was free from the house, but the whisper remained, a constant reminder of the darkness that lingered in the woods, a chilling testament to the secrets whispered in the night.